get started. This tutorial will walk you through each step in the Mortimer's assignment. You can pause this video whenever you want to if it goes too fast for you. So let's take a look at these directions here for step number 1 to complete the project. So you're going to download from Google Classroom that Mortimer's file. Once you get to Classroom, right here, you click the link, it'll show it to you here. We do not work on it as a Google Sheet. You're going to click the 3 dots for more actions. You'll open it in a new window. It'll kind of look the same, but at least now in the top right hand corner you have a download arrow. So you download the file, look in the lower left hand corner, there it is. You do show in Finder, and then you copy and paste it or drag and drop it, whatever you want to do. And again, pause the video if you need to get it into your own computer app folder. And then once you get that into your own folder, you double click and you open it up. And there's your file. Okay, let's go back to the directions. Step number 2, change the font to Times New Roman for the entire document. So I'm just going to close up my downloads folder, but you can do what you want. So I'm just going to click on this little square up here in the corner above the 1 to the left of the A. That'll select everything, and then I can just do the Times New Roman font. That'll be the first thing that I want to do, and then I'll change it to a 12 as I wait for the beach ball of death to go away. There it went. Let's try that again. So Times New Roman. It's in my recent font list. You might have to, you can always do like a, oh, I just deleted everything. Let me put that back. There it is. Okay, so if you click the little square, and if your font isn't on that list, just type TIMES new, there it is, Times New Roman, press enter, and then change the size to 12. There you go. And don't worry about adjusting the sizes of the columns. We'll do that probably in another step. Step number 3, place the titles of these cells, A3, B3, C3, G, and H on 2 lines. You have to use your Option and the Enter key to make that happen. Back on Excel, we're going to look for cell A3 right here. So if you look at it, you can see customer NUM, but actually number is, the whole word. So to put that on 2 lines, up here on your formula bar where you see customer number, I'm going to click right in front of the N. And then just like the directions say, I'm going to hold down the Option key. I'm going to tap on Return or Enter on your keyboard, let up on Option, and then just do a regular return. And if it doesn't show it to you, come over here between the 3 and the 4 and drag that row height down. There it is. I'm going to do mine just a little bit more. And you can just drag it down enough to see it. There you go. And so now it's on 2 lines. So that should take care of cell A3. Now we need to do that a few more times. So now you're going to put your cursor in cell B3, come up to the formula bar, click in front of Name, Option, Enter, and then a regular Enter with no option. Now that one's on 2 lines. C3 needs to go on 2 lines. So right in front of Balance, Option, Enter, then an Enter by itself. G3 needs to be on 2 lines. I'm going to click right in front of Charge, Option, Enter, and then a regular Enter. And then looks like H3, yep, New Balance. Option, Enter, let up on Enter, or let up on Option, and then just a regular Enter. And now step 3 is done. And you can save this whenever you want. I'm just going to do Command S, and I'm going to save mine. Step number 4, change the width of column A. to the number 15. So here's column A. I'm going to put my cursor up at the top of the column where the heading is. I'm going to right click, and you should find something called column width. You type in 15, go with the OK, and that should widen the column out. Step number 5, change the widths of columns B through H to auto fit. So that means, like, if I come up here to the column headings between the B, where between the B and the C is, I get that double-headed arrow. Best fit is a double click, and see how it automatically widened it. Now, I believe you can highlight all of those and double click one of them, and it should do all of them. If not, you can go through and do each one of them individually, okay? Step number 6, we want to left align the range A4 to A8, just that A4 to A8. So we find A4, highlight on down to A8, and then left align that. Step number 7, use the following formulas to determine the numbers that we want, and copy the formula throughout all the customers. So for service charge, we want this formula. And remember, we have to put in the percent sign, we got to put in the time sign, we got to put in the parentheses. We don't want to type these words, but what we want to do is we actually want to use the cell reference. So we want to figure out the service charge, so our cursor needs to go to cell G4. Okay? Then, based on the formula, you type an equal sign, and then you type 2.25%. Then type in your time sign, which is the shift of the 8, then the left parenthesis. Okay, so see the formula over here? 2.25% times the left parenthesis. So now we need the beginning balance minus payments minus credits. So we don't type like the word beginning balance. Stay on row 4 and use this cell C4, which has the number for that corresponds for beginning balance. And all you have to do is just click on it, and it'll automatically put that C4 in your formula. You're going to type in a minus sign. Then you're going to click on the cell that represents the payments for that row. Then you're going to type in a minus sign. Then you're going to put in the credits, and then put in a right parenthesis, and then enter. And you should get something like that, 39.286. Then you click on that 39.286, find the black plus sign in the corner, and fill that down to row number 8. And then save that if you want to. Then we need to do the next part, 7B, the new balance. So again, we start with an equal sign, do some adding and subtracting, and we'll have our formula. So put your cursor in cell H4, type your equal sign, stay on that row, click on the beginning balance number, which is C4, add in the purchases, subtract the payments, subtract the credits, and add the service charge. So that's what your formula should look like. Enter, and then you go back to cell H4 and you fill down to row number 8 to get so that all those formulas are there. So if I do Control tilde, see that there's a formula in every one of those cells, okay? And then Control tilde will turn that off. Step number 8, calculate the total, which is going to be a sum function for the beginning balances, purchases, payments, credit, service charge, and new balance, and put that in row number 9. So row number 9, so here's beginning balance, so it looks like that's going to be around C9. All we got to do is add these up. So if we come over here, we're on our home, here's the auto sum, hit the drop down, we want to add, so that's going to be sum. It will try to figure out the range for you, C4 to C8, which is right. So you're going to enter to accept that. And then you get your number that adds all those together. You go back to cell number C9, find the black plus sign, and you fill that all the way over to H9. And now you have a formula in each one of those cells that adds these numbers up. So if I click on 7352, there's the formula. If I click on 52 or 5425, that's the formula. Or if I do Control tilde, I can see I have formulas in all those cells. So I'm going to Control tilde. I'm going to turn that off. Step number 9. In cell C10, we're going to put in the formula to calculate the maximum value in C4 to C8 and then copy that over to the right. So in cell C10, which was going to be right here, we want to figure out what the maximum or the highest value is in these numbers. Notice we don't want to include the total, just these numbers. So I'm going to, again, go back to C10. I'm going to come back here to the formula button there. And max is the function you want. So you choose that. And it will try to figure it out for you, C4 to C9. The range is not correct. We want our range to stop at C8. So I'm just going to re-highlight. You can also get in there and change that 9 to an 8. I'm just going to re-highlight, stop on an 8. There it is, row 8, C4 to C8, enter. And then I need to copy that formula all the way to the right. And now I have a formula in each of those cells that is the max for everything above it, but not row 9. Step number 10. In C11, calculate the minimum value. Again, it's going to be from C4 to C8. Now the computer is going to want to include some extra cells. So you kind of have to be on the lookout for that. So C11 is right there. Over here where you get your functions at. Minimum, min. And see, it wants to go all the way down from C4 to C10. We don't want that. We want to stop at 8. And like I said, you can actually go in here and type, delete and type, or I'm just going to highlight only down to row 8 and then enter. Then click on C11, find the black plus sign in the corner, and fill it to the right. So I have formulas in that row. Step number 11, change the spreadsheet title in cell A1 to a size 24. It should already be on the Times New Roman. We'll check that as we do that. So change the spreadsheet title A1, that's this one right here. Yep, it's Times New Roman. You don't have to highlight Emporium. When you click on A1, it has all that text in that cell. So you just bump that up to a size 24. And don't worry that you can't see all of it right now. And if you can, great, but if you can't, don't worry about it. We'll fix it in another step. Step number 12, format the subtitle that you see in cell A2 to be Times New Roman and then a size 18 font. So A2, it's already Times New Roman. We just need it to be 18. And again, we can't see it all, but I believe we got a step coming up that we will fix that. Step number 13, merge and center the spreadsheet titles in A1 and A2 across through column H. So A1 to H1. You can't do them together. You got it like together means like A1 and A2 all the way over. You can't do it like that. You have to do A1 to H1, merge and center, and then do A2 to H2, merge and center. Step number 13, as we just did. Step number 14, change the height of row 1 to 40, change the height of row 2 and 3 to 35, and the height of row 10 is 40. Okay, so we got all three of those to do. All right, so back here on this spreadsheet, change the height of row 1. So see where the 1 is over here? You're going to right-click on it. You're going to right-click on it, row height, and then the height of that row needs to be the number 40, which should solve that, the problem that the text there wasn't going to fit in the cell. Right-click row 2, change the height of row 2. That's going to be 35. Right-click row 3, do the row height at 35. And then right-click row 10, change the row height, and that will be 40. Step number 15, add a thick green outline border to the range A1 to H2. Okay, thick green, so A1 to H2 should look like that when you select. Here's the border button. Let's just go down to more borders because we have some formatting to do. Thick, like this is a thick line right here. Green right here for the color, and I don't care what color green you pick. And then an outline over here under presets. So this is, you should be able to see that that is green. And then click OK. And then you might have to like click off. Yep, there it is. And there's that border that we want. Step number 16. Select the range A1 to H2, change the background color to orange. So it's kind of where we did the border at. You highlight that. And the paint bucket right here. Any shade of orange you like. Step 17, change the font color in the same range we've been working on, A1 to H2 to white and bold. So again, you just kind of keep it all highlighted. This A here changes your font color to white. There's the bold right here. I'm going to Command S and save mine. Step 18, italicize and bold the column titles in row 3. So here's row 3. So if I highlight this information, italicize and bold. There's the italics and there's the bold. Now if you notice, some things kind of went wonky on us here. Let's keep reading the directions. If you really want to, you can do an auto fit on those because that's what we did originally. So I think, yeah, let's just do an auto fit on those. If yours didn't do that, great. Mine did that, so you might want to maybe do an auto fit for those to make those fit again. Step number 19, add a thick green bottom border to the range A3 to H3. So here's A3 and here's H3. So back on this border button, more borders. There's the thick, there's the green, bottom. Now mine shows top, so I'm taking the top off, I'm putting the bottom on. So there's my thick green bottom border that will go on the range, and sure enough, there it is. It doesn't go on the sides there because we only said a bottom border. Step number 20, center B3 to H3. center B3, over here to H3, and then center. Step 21. Italicize and bold cell A9, A10, and A11. A9 is here. We can select 10 and 11. Italicize and bold. Step 22. To the range A9 to H9, add a green dashed top border and a green double line bottom border. So A9 to H9 should look like this, kind of a highlight. Back to the border button, more borders. So dashed top green. So like here's some dashes, and there's a couple styles you could pick. I'm going to pick like this one. There's the green again. Put it on the top. And then the double line is here. There's the green. Tap the bottom border area. There you go. Dotted green, double line green. Click OK. And again, there you go. Click off of it, and it probably is easier for you to see that. Step number 23. Apply the currency style to the cell C4 to H4 and C9 to H11. So let's go after C4 to H4. C4, H4 is over here, $. And then the other range is C9 to C11. C9 right here to C9 to H11. So that's the range it should be. I know it's leaving this middle stuff out. That's okay. We're just going to keep following the directions and trust them. Step number 24. Apply a comma style. Just make sure there's 2 decimals when we do this. C5 to H8. So C5 is here. So it's all those numbers kind of sandwiched in between. Look to see that you have this area selected, and then just come up here, tap your comma button. Those numbers now have commas and 2 decimal places, so you should be good to go. Step number 25. Use the conditional formatting command to bold the font and color the background orange of any cell that is in the range H4 to H8, and that cell has a value that is greater than or equal to the number 3000. Okay, so it's called conditional formatting. All right, so how do you do that? Well, first of all, we have to highlight H4 to H8. That's right over here, H4 to H8. It's just these numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers, okay? Conditional formatting is on this home area, and it's right here called conditional formatting. When you hit the drop down, there's lots of stuff there. We're just going to do this highlight cell rules. And the directions said that anything that was more than, greater than, or equal to 3000. We got a greater than, but not a greater than or equal to. So let's just take greater than. All right. So any cell that is greater than, let's hit these double arrows. There it is, greater than or equal to. Now we got the right one. And then in this box, you put the number 3000. Now, any number that is greater than 3000 will be a light red fill with a dark red text. That's not what we want. We want it to be, I have to go back and read my direction, a bold font and an orange background. So none of these work. So that means you do custom. All right, so then you just kind of come across the top. There's tabs up here. We don't want to do anything with the number, but we do want to do with the font. We want it to be bold. We don't want anything with the border, but the fill color we do want it to be orange. So this is what it's going to look like. You click OK, and then there's the bold font, orange fill, anything that is greater than or equal to 3,000, and you click OK, and there you go. You have two of them. See, they're greater than 3,000. The first one, the 2524, not greater than 3,000, so it doesn't turn orange. So if you want to check your work, let's see if we can make it more than 3,000, this 2524. So go back to the beginning balance number of 235615, look at cell C4, okay? We want to get that new balance for that row above 3,000. So what if we type 10,000 and enter? Yep, see that? It put it back, it changed it automatically. I'm going to Command Z, and you should do the same thing and undo that. So that's how it works, okay? If you go down to this 7,276, the one that is orange, come back to this 6291, cell C5, type in a 0, press enter. Drop below 3,000, so it took the orange off. Command Z, undo it, put it back the way that it should be, but that's how conditional formatting works. Step number 26, change the widths of columns B through H to auto-fit if necessary. I think we've already done that, but we can go back, double-click those. None of them are moving. That's okay. If they move, great. If they don't move, great. One of mine moved it. Another one moved it. Yep, they moved just a little bit. So that should take care of step number 26. Step number 27, rename the sheet tab to Accounts Receivable. Down here where it says Sheet 1, right-click, rename, type in Accounts Receivable. Just press enter when you're done, and that changes the name of that sheet. Step number 28, put your name, your period number, and seat number in cell A20. So A20 is right here. Put your name, your period number, and your seat number. Step number 29, your spreadsheet should look like this, and you can stop and make comparisons. Don't worry about this like the border right here. That's part of when the screenshot was taken, that cell was selected. Okay, the greens don't have to match, but other than that, the numbers should look the same. Your dollar signs may not look the same in the same location, but as long as you have dollar signs. If you don't have a 0 here and you have a line here, see those? It's okay. Either one will work. A line, like we have a line here, that means 0. So that can go either way. Step number 30. To create the chart, select the non-adjacent ranges B4 to B8 and then H4 to H8. So you need to use the Command key to do that. All right, so back here we want to highlight B4 to B8, so these names of these people. Hold down the Command key and highlight H4 to H8. So over here. Now I'm going to hit my Command key and hold it. H4 to H8. So it should look like that. Step 31, the type of chart is a 3D pie chart. So with my selection made, I come up to the Insert menu up here and I start looking for pie charts. There's pie charts right here. Okay, we want a 3D pie chart. Hover over the 2s. No, there's a 3D, there it is. So it's this one right here. Under 3D pie, there's only one, you choose it. And it should make a chart like this. Step number 32, move this chart to its own sheet and then rename the sheet to contributions. So don't copy and paste it. All you do, you have your chart selected. On your ribbon up here, you click on Move Chart, mark the dot for New Sheet. The name is not Chart 1. The name is Contributions. And then you can click OK. and that put it on a tab all by itself. So there's your data, there's the chart. And when you save it, it saves both of those together in one file. Step 33, the chart title needs to read contributions to accounts receivable. So up here where it just says chart title, you need to get up there, double click, there you go, start getting that text out of there and type in contributions to accounts receivable. And then just click outside of it, and it should set that as your new chart title. Step number 34, format the chart title to be the size 24 bold. It's probably already centered, so you don't have to do that, and change the text color to orange. So we're going to go back up and click on it to select the box. I'm going to double click and Command A. There we go. Now I have all my text selected. So this font size needs to be 24. I need to bold it. It is already centered, so I don't have to do that, but the font color needs to be orange. And then save it. Step 35, the legend has to be placed on the right side. Okay, our legend is at the bottom. Don't click and drag it. So you're going to want to come up here to chart design, and where it says add chart element at the top, go to the legend area and then just choose right, and it should move it automatically, resize the chart for you. That way you don't have to drag it. Step 36 is to, the slice labels should show percentages. So right now they don't show anything, so we don't know what each of them represents. I mean, if you hover, that's great, I can tell. But if this is a printed document, then hovering doesn't work. So if you come back up here to chart element, so you're on the chart design tab, and then chart elements, there's data labels, okay? And so this is where they actually can be placed. Like, let's put them in the center. So now you can see that there's numbers. It's not the right numbers. We don't want the values. We want the percentages. If you go back to data labels and come down here to more data label options and look over here to the right, as long as you're on this 1, 2, 3 under these label options, this chart looking thing here, and if label options are not open, open them up. See, the values are on, check marked on, meaning that they show up. If I uncheck it, then they take them off. We don't want them on there. We want what's below it. We want the percentage. And so now your chart pieces should look like this. Step number 37, change the largest slice in the chart to the color gray. Just make sure it's a different color gray than the smallest slice. So see, the smallest slice is already a gray. Here's the largest, the 47%. We just need it to be another gray, okay? If you click on this, you will see there's little handles around every piece. And so if we change the color right now, that would change every piece. So do another click, and now you'll notice that the handles are only around the 47% slice. So, and you sometimes got to play with this over here. I think we're just going to go to the paint bucket and do a fill. And so the solid fill color that we want, color is not orange, it is that orange, another shade of gray. And again, you already have this shade of gray, so let's go considerably lighter. Yeah, there we go. Now we can tell there's 2 shades of gray within our chart. Step number 38, save your file to your Excel folder, and then talk to your teacher about the way that that should be turned in. So if you just come back here, do Command S, it saves both of these tabs at the same time, and that's it.